So after watching my classmates' discussion posts on the Joint Commission's 2025 National Patient Safety Goals, I've been able to gain a lot of insight and information, as well as review of information that I'd known from my previous research and experience working in the healthcare field. So a common goal discussed was the one about reducing the risk of hospital-acquired infections. This is a really big issue and it's very common. Hundreds of thousands of people are infected while in their hospital stay, and a really important thing to try to keep those numbers down would be to practice good hand hygiene. So washing in and out of rooms, washing when you're touching a patient, and washing when you're around a patient's surroundings is extremely important and can reduce the risk of gaining a hospital-acquired infection. I also know that wearing a mask and the proper PPE, which is personal protective equipment when you're going into isolation rooms, and doing the proper hand washing routine in and out of those rooms is also important in decreasing the spread of hospital-acquired infections also. So another goal that was talked about was practices for patient identification. So patient identification is extremely important. A lot of times by accidentally, patients' identifications can be lost, especially when doing specimens. So it's really important to make sure that you're identifying the patient before and after you do a procedure, before and after you draw blood, urine samples. You always want to identify a patient's name and date of birth, because something as simple as getting that mixed up could lead to a whole array of ripple down effects. So it's really important to make sure that you identify who you're speaking with, what you're doing, and that way the patient knows also that you're in the right room, you're doing the right procedure. I know that working at Covenant, it's extremely important that we practice both of those things. We do hand washing. We actually have, our managers would actually walk around and they would know whether we wash in and out. Sometimes it's more of sanitizing. So there's a sanitizer in front of the door before you walk into the room, and also one in front of the door before you walk out of the room. So you have to be actively washing in and actively washing out, or you'll get written up for it. Which holds employees accountable for that. And it's extremely important. I don't feel that it's anything that's not necessary, because it protects you and other patients from all of the illnesses that happen in the hospital. We also practice patient identification. So when I was a CNA, I had to collect lab specimens. This is urine, COVID swabs, RSV swabs, and sometimes I was doing pregnancy tests and all types of different specimens. And it's extremely important that I made sure that I confirmed with the patient their name, date of birth before I labeled the specimen and sent it to the lab. We always do that in the room in front of the patient, so that they can be assured and we can be assured that we are practicing good identification protocols. So ideally, majority of the topics covered in this discussion board, I've had a lot of previous knowledge on, because I've had to actually practice them. So yeah, it's been pretty, I would say that all of my classmates' ideas and conclusions meshed with my own. And yeah.